I was basically telling him, like, when it comes to my dating life, some days it's like different colors on a stoplight. Some days it's red, which means nobody touch me, nobody look at me, don't talk to me, I'm not interested. Anybody, leave me alone. Then some days it's yellow, where it's kind of like, okay, you know what? I don't mind getting back out there. Let me see, but I'm still cautious, number one, because of previous experiences, but also in terms of my career and different things that I'm pursuing. It's like I want to stay focused, but I don't mind seeing what's out there. And then some days it's green, where it's just like, tell me where everybody's meeting at.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Queerly Blax Show. I'm your host, Ashley, and I'm so happy you came by. The Queerly Blax Show aims to normalize the everyday existence of Black, LGBTQIA+ individuals through an interview-style series with regular folks like you and me. So every week, a new guest shares their story and unique perspective on their existence as an LGBTQIA+ individual. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure you subscribe, download, set your reminders to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to another episode of the Queerly Blax Show. I'm your host, Ashley. I'm joined today by a special guest. We got Jeronelle in the building. Jeronelle, tell the people about yourself.
What's good, everybody? I'm Jeronelle, independent R&B soul artist, originally from Omaha, Nebraska, but I'm currently based here in LA. And thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely, man. Omaha, Nebraska. Woo.
Yeah. Yes, Black
Omaha,
people
Nebraska.
do live there.
Isn't Gabrielle Union from there?
Yeah, Gabrielle Union, Malcolm X, Niles Paul, who's actually my cousin, but he's a retired NFL player. There's a couple of us.
Nice. So man, you know how we do here. We got to go all the way back to the beginning. When was the first time you knew that you liked boys?
This would have been probably like around 5th or 6th, whatever year Brokeback Mountain came out, because that was like the first indicator. And I'll never forget, I was actually, so I was that kid that was always, trying to hang with the adults and always do what the adults did. And that included like after school, I would come home and I would sit with my grandma and watch TV if I didn't have homework. And so I think she was watching, it was probably Oprah or one of them talk shows. And they were obviously doing an interview promoting the Brokeback Mountain film. And just my curiosity about, okay, what is this about? And then of course, being a kid with access to the internet, it's like, oh, wow, you're discovering a whole lot. But from there, that's kind of, I would say, what was like, okay, this is something, there's something there. But, growing up in a Christian household, a Black Christian household, you always hear, oh, this isn't right, and this and that and the third. So for years, and I mean years, it always felt like a struggle of having to deny one part of myself. Like I knew that I liked girls because I would always try to shoot my shot and I would always get shut down or embarrassed, like, oh my God, Jeronelle tried to talk to me, or he tried to ask me out. And so I would always, be just shooting my shot, getting embarrassed. But I always had that other part of me that was like, damn, he kind of cute, looking at the guys that may have been on the track or the football team or whatever at the time. And so all throughout middle school and all throughout high school, I had to keep that quiet. Moving into college, I was in Atlanta. And so I was very aware that there was definitely a heavy Black queer population out there, but I was still so focused on school that I didn't really bother to try to get into the scene or anything until senior year, when a wonderful app called Jacked came into play. And it was just like, it was like a kid in a candy store, because you log on to this app and all of a sudden you just see all of these faceless torso profiles, within, mind you, we're in the AUC, which is the Atlanta University Center. So it's Clark Atlanta, Morehouse, and Spelman all conjoined, like, we all have our individual campuses, but we're all connected somehow. And then, of course, Morris Brown is close by. Georgia State is a little bit ways away. Georgia Tech is even further than that. So it's like all of just, just everything.
A lot of access.
Yeah, it was like, oh, wow. And so that was my first time being with a guy with senior year. And then from there, moving to LA, that's when it was just like, okay, I got free reign to kind of do what I want to do, but it was still very private. I didn't tell anybody, all of that until 2020. Was it Christmas of 2020, I believe? Yes, Christmas of 2020. Because throughout the year, there were several peers of mine, artist peers, and just, friends from way back in the day that had started to come out and share their own stories and their own journeys. And it just kind of just gave me that push to be like, you know what, just say something. Yeah. Just say it. Like, your mama already knows, that this is something that you have gone back and forth about over the years. So it's just like, and I'm pretty sure that my family could sense it, because, I was always that kid that was like, oh, I want to watch the Golden Girls, or, a super fan of Destiny's Child, just those little certain indicators.
Yeah. So y'all sitting around over the Christmas ham, people are excited about their gifts, and you're like, hey guys. So
I actually, it was the last night, because we had all come together from different states and our various locations to kick it for the holidays. It was a very awkward holiday, because obviously we all had to be kind of socially distant and mindful of COVID. But I was like, everybody just come together, come to the house. Let's hang out, let's eat. I want to, talk to you guys about something. And as soon as everybody was, seated, I just was sitting in the middle of the living room like, okay, so here's the deal. I like guys and girls, and I'm tired of hiding it. I'm sure some of you may have had some sort of indicator over the years, but I'm just officially saying it now. And I took the time to really kind of walk them through my mindset. And, I gave them the floor if they had any questions, which there really weren't many questions. But I gave them the floor in case they wanted to ask, and was just like, it is what it is. My uncle, he was back here in LA, and he was on the phone, and, everybody was just telling me, well, we're proud of you, and thank you for telling us. And so it didn't result in a big blow up, which I'm thankful for. Because in my mind, I was prepared for like the scenario to go a different number of ways. I was just like, especially when you're coming again from a Christian household, and your grandfather's a deacon, and your family is well known in your home church. It's just like, but that was my journey to get to the point of saying, you know what, I am comfortable in who I am, and I am not going to continue trying to hide it anymore. Like, I would rather just take it and try to figure out, okay, how do I own this? How do I own this this part of who I am? And just stand in it, be proud of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So today, kind of being open, people knowing, are you dating, single?
Single. Very. And it's crazy, because I was doing another podcast the other day with a friend, and I was basically telling him, like, when it comes to my dating life, some days it's like different colors on a stoplight. Some days it's red, which means nobody touch me, nobody look at me, don't talk to me, I'm not interested. Anybody, leave me alone. Then some days it's yellow, where it's kind of like, okay, you know what? I don't mind getting back out there. Let me see, but I'm still cautious, number one, because of previous experiences, but also in terms of my career and different things that I'm pursuing. It's like I want to stay focused, but I don't mind seeing what's out there. And then some days it's green, where it's just like, tell me where everybody's meeting at, because I'm trying to get out here. I'm not trying to find love on the internet no more. I'm trying to be where the people are. So
yeah,
it depends on the day.
Yeah. So like talk about that as just, so you're you if you had to pick a letter, you're bisexual, I'm
Yes.
understanding.
Yes.
How is that dating? We hear a lot about obviously just being gay, right? But as a bisexual man, how does that in terms of the dating scene and in a big metropolitan area, how is that for you?
If I can be completely honest, because of the fact that I was not open about it until like the last 2-3 years, I really can't say that I've had like a whole bunch of crazy experiences. And plus I've just found myself time and time again in more situationships than like dating and stuff like that. Um, so it's kind of been like, having to deal with one person. And honestly, I'm the type of person, I can only really mentally deal with one person at a time.
Right.
Like trying to have a whole roster, as they call it, it's just like, it's enough for me to open myself and my world up to one person. So having to try to juggle more than one, that's a different ball game that I'm not nearly as familiar with.
Yeah. Is it have you found that it's easy to kind of get out and find places to meet people physically? Because I think obviously online, whether it be dating or just social media in general, has made it very easy to communicate with people online or follow people, kind of learn about them. But I think there are people who still value like that meeting someone more or less the old school way. Like I was out, we just caught a vibe, and like it went from there. Do you find that people are still interested in that? And
it's crazy that you mentioned that, because that is that's what I'm trying to shift more towards, because for so long I've been, the one to try to form a connection with somebody online, or there's always been some sort of technological component. So it's crazy that you're saying that, because I remember saying to my therapist, like, I want to be more intentional this year about meeting people outside, more like you said, old school, old fashioned, whether it's at church or at the grocery store or, wherever, and try to form a friendship first and a possible connection from there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I love that. I mean, I'm a in-person kind of person, just even from just the way I relate to people. I just love to meet people the authentic way. I'm married, so not from a dating perspective, but just whether it be networking, friendship. Like I'm the person that's like, yeah, let's go grab lunch or grab a drink, whatever, because I just love, like, I just think there's a different level of connection when you are physically with someone, right, in their space. You get their aura, like you get all of that. So I think I'm definitely a proponent of that. I think, but the hard part is that even just something as simple as walking through the grocery store, everybody's like on their phone or looking at a app or a list, and I gotta scan everything before I get to the register, so I can't even look, you know what I mean? Like there's always, technology has kind of become like a blessing in a lot of ways, but then also like it kind of takes away from some of our ability to connect authentically and in person, because even social media is just what you want to share. It's just this is what I feel like posting, but it doesn't capture the full essence of who we are. So best wishes to you and your dating journey.
We'll see what the year brings. You know, it's only the first couple
3 weeks
of the year. So
21 days. So best wishes to you. So now let's talk about, your music. Do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
Yes, and I am so glad that all traces of that song have been wiped off the face of the planet. Yeah, it was ooh, wow. So I technically have two stories that I could share about that. There was one where I was a kid and I was just rambling and like, oh mom, I made a song, and it was just like, Ugh. And then when I got to college, my sophomore year, I put out a song, and I did like a whole, promo campaign. Like I was putting up posters all over the campus trying to get attention. And this was like when Twitter had really begun to take off. So I'm, trying to put my information all over. And I just remember one of my friends was just like, yeah, bro, like you can sing, but the song, he was just basically telling me the song ain't good. And, after listening back to it a bit more, I was like, you know what? We can do better than this. Snatch it off the internet. I made sure all traces, all mentions of it were just gone, completely gone, never to be seen or heard from again. And then flash forward to the summer after my sophomore year is when I wrote the first song that actually stuck. Like it actually like made sense, was like, okay, this is something I can see myself performing and being proud of and promoting. And it was real emotional and all of that. So yeah, but yeah, I definitely remember the first songs I ever took a crack at.
Yeah, gotta start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So now you have a new single that's out, Stuck. Talk to me about that song.
So Stuck, I wrote in September of 2021. Again, touching on real life experience and my tendency to get stuck in situationships and that sort of world. Yeah, it's just a heartfelt, emotional R&B song about what happens when the one that you have grown fond of, the one you've developed strong feelings for, when you find out the one you love has moved on to somebody else, and you're still left to deal with the feelings and the memories and all of the residue from that situation.
Yeah. So as far as just like, your music in general, obviously that song is one aspect of your life. And what, as far as like, when someone thinks of Jeronelle's music, right? Obviously R&B, great voice, amazing voice. What else will they get from your music?
I would say vulnerability, emotional vulnerability. We hear it all the time about people trying to still resurrect this narrative about R&B is dead or it's not the same. Like even literally just this morning on Twitter, I saw it starting to happen again, where people are trying to push this narrative, and a bunch of my indie artist friends are trying to actively combat this false narrative, this lie. But yeah, I would say emotional vulnerability, musicality, taking from different influences. So, the feeling and the conviction you get from listening to your favorite gospel songs, but, the storytelling of like a great country song. But again, the emotional vulnerability of the genre that we love called R&B. So taking all these different influences, and really telling my story. And hopefully my goal and my hope is that with any project or with any song I put out, that people will be able to say, yeah, I can identify with this song. I went through something similar. Not to say we want people triggered, but
Yeah.
just be like, yeah, I
I can
get where
relate.
you're coming from. I can relate. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're triggered, that's fine too. I think the most, and it's why, like, for one, I am a huge fan of R&B. That's my favorite genre. I'm a gatekeeper of R&B. I download all of it. My number one artist, I must say, is Tank. I'm a huge Tank fan. I consume all things Tank. And I think I especially love how he is a huge proponent of how he has stayed true to the craft, and has been like a gatekeeper of it. I remember he was on the Breakfast Club once, and he was like talking about when Sam Smith came out, and everybody thought that Stay With Me was Tank because it sounds just like him. I thought it was him, right? But it's not, it's Sam Smith. And so, he talked about, he's like, I could have been bigger than I am, but I wasn't willing to cross over, because a lot of the R&B guys who become huge, they have had that moment of crossover, right? Talk about Neo, Usher, the list goes on. They've all done that kind of, let me go eat Chris Brown, right? Go over here and then let me get back, into the space. But he's always been just like, I know that I could have been bigger, but this is what I want to be known for. This is what kind of stamp I want to put. And even talking about creating a label where it's an R&B label, and he shows R&B artists a different kind of way to become successful. So I'm a huge fan of R&B artists, but I wanted to ask you, top 5 R&B artists.
Oh gosh. Okay.
They could be in no particular order. They could just be, just your top 5.
No, it's not even the order. It's just trying to, because again, I get so many different people that have influenced me and my sound come to mind. I'm gonna loop all of the Jackson family into one. Okay. I'm gonna loop them all, all into one. That's one. Whitney Houston. John Legend. Donny Hathaway. Shoot, because I can only choose it, and it also depends on the day. It depends on what I'm feeling. Since it at the time of this recording, it is Saturday, and we always associate waking up on Saturdays and cleaning up your place. I gotta shout out the songstress herself, Anita Baker.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah,
absolutely.
Those would be 5 of my favorites. I obviously have many more.
For sure. That's a solid 5 right there, though. That's definitely a solid 5. What can the people expect from you coming up?
Definitely continuing to push this R&B throughout the rest of this year. Expect more music. I do have a project coming out in the spring. More details will come soon enough, but I'm excited about that. Definitely looking to perform in multiple cities. We're working on some things right now, but definitely want to hit the stage, hit the streets, get the word out, perform more. I really just want to make this a breakout and a breakthrough year for me. I want to be able to look back at the end of the year and say that I really gave it my all, especially as an independent artist, that I really gave it my all. And I want to be able to look back at the end of the year and see, my name on these different best of lists in terms of R&B for 2023. So that's my goals and my hopes for the year, and just being able to really enjoy all of the different blessings God gives me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And best wishes to you. All right. Before we get out of here, we're going to play a little game.
Okay.
We're going to play a game of this or that.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Cool. Beard or no beard?
Beard.
Laundry or cooking?
Laundry.
Day at the spa watching sports all day?
All day at the spa. Please.
Short
well,
hair.
Wait. Because I am a huge professional wrestling fan. So if the sport is watching WWE, then okay. But if it's any other sport, we're headed to the spa, give me a massage, and let me just chill out.
Short hair or long hair?
This is my second time having locks. So and now they're not at the quote unquote ugly stage anymore. So it's like I got some hang time now. Like ooh. But at the same time, it's like I remember that first time getting that cut. And it's just like you look at yourself differently, especially with a beard. Can I plead the fifth on that one?
Okay. Sports car or big truck?
Sports car, big truck. I'll take the big truck. I'll take a big truck.
Big wedding or small ceremony?
Big. You gonna know. You gonna know.
You gonna know. Yeah. Stay up late or sleep in. Stay up late or sleep in.
Ooh. Stay up late or sleep in. Wait, that was the choice, right? Stay up late or sleep in? I'm pretty much a night owl, so stay up late.
Iron or re-dry it?
It depends on how fast I need it, but probably iron.
Iron. Pay or have him pay?
Either. If I got it, I'll pay. If you got it, come on.
Last question.
Okay.
Top or bottom?
Oh, top. Wait, listen.
Hey. There you have it, folks.
For multiple reasons. I won't even go into it. Yeah.
Got you, man. Well, thank you so much for coming through. Tell the people where they can find you.
They can find me on all social media at I'm Jeronelle. That's JERONELLE. I have my new single Stuck is out now on all platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Audio Mac. Definitely please stream it, download it, share it. Put it on your playlist, and be on the lookout for more music to come later on this year.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much again for coming through. Y'all go check them out. And y'all already know, man, it's another episode of the Queerly Blax Show. I'm your host, Ashley. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.